Hi, everybody. We are live overlooking the practice fields here at Redskins Park. Day 2 of the OTAs. Temperatures in the mid-60s, a little bit of a breeze, plenty of sun. Let's check out the action here. Larry Michael with you, joined by the editor of Redskins.com, Jake Kring-Schreifels. And Jake, yesterday's behind us. I know it was a tough day for Redskins fans, the injury to Reuben Foster. But the life of the NFL is the game must roll on. Day 2 of the OTAs, and quarterbacks, obviously, again, the focus for us. Yesterday, some complimentary things said by both Dwayne Haskins and Case Keenum about each other.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you have a veteran quarterback like Case is. This is the third team in 3 straight years that he's had to learn a different offense. So both of them are learning different things right now and trying to get really that adjustment level set. And so it's a lot about their own personal growth at this point, but the fact that they're working together and doing this together, I think, really helps them bond, because you're learning an offense together. It only helps each other when they're in the classroom. It's not like, and Colt McCoy's going to help with this later on when he's back and working fully, but it's not as though you've had a guy here for 10 years and he's got to be the one to help the guy learn off the bat. So they're both learning this system together.
Really impressive comments. You can check those comments out on Redskins.com, the media availability with Case Keenum and Dwayne Haskins Jr., and I'm really impressed with Haskins' demeanor, a very professional approach. Case Keenum obviously has been around a long time, and they have the benefit of having some pretty good quarterbacks just surrounding them. Right here, right now, you've got Matt Cavanaugh and Tim Rattay, both played quarterback in the National Football League. You got Kevin O'Connell. You can't see him in the shot. He's off to the left. I mean, the Redskins have invested here to help these quarterbacks this season.
Yeah, it's funny. That's really been the calling card all offseason is we have 5, 6, even Doug Williams. That's another point of opportunity for these guys to learn from. So many quarterbacks in the same room, and so when you're able to do that, you have so many different perspectives too on what the vision should be, what defenses that people have experienced over their many years of experience. So there's a lot to pick the brains of for Dwayne Haskins.
Now, when you see these guys out there, let's not forget Woodrum, and the prognosis for Colt McCoy is pretty good. He should be okay for training camp. He recovers. But really, you're talking about a guy with very little experience in Dwayne Haskins, but obviously great physical ability. You've got Case Keenum, who has won at a high level. These guys obviously complement each other right now.
Yeah, and it was interesting, too, when you look at the offense from even just yesterday. I noticed a lot. Case Keenum was under center and kind of doing a lot of things that he's very comfortable with. Dwayne Haskins in the shotgun and doing a lot of zone read option plays, doing some wide receiver screens and bubble screens and things that seem more college-based and are a little bit more familiar to him. So already you can kind of see that even between the quarterbacks and when they line up today, and even yesterday we saw that there is a difference in the way that they're handling these offenses and giving them different plays based on their skill sets.
Okay, I want to put the focus away from the quarterbacks now to the right a little bit, the running backs, far sideline. Randy Jordan, the running backs coach, as they move to the center of the field. And I guess most notably, Adrian Peterson is not present. We knew that AP would not be here. We'll see him during the mandatory minicamp. There's Case Keenum in there rallying the guys. And also Darius Geis, coming off that injury, not participating right here in the OTAs, which to me, Perine has been a forgotten guy. Coach Gruden has kept him in our consciousness by mentioning him every opportunity he gets. But Perine, to me, has been forgotten.
Yeah, he has, and that was one of the biggest things that Jay Gruden brought up at the owners' meetings back in Arizona around March was, hey, I'm still believe in Samaje Perine. I think he's really invested a lot in him, and I think what they haven't really seen production-wise has been a result of just a backlog of backs they've had. And when you bring in Adrian Peterson, he took on the bulk of those carries. So when you have Samaje as a 4th-round guy a few years ago, I think this is a prime opportunity for him right now. There's a lot of guys injured. Adrian's not here, as you mentioned. This is going to be his chance to really shine and make some waves here early on in OTAs and minicamp, because he's really the lead back. He's really the first-string guy with Case Keenum yesterday and even Dwayne. Chris Thompson and Byron Marshall are going to be those third-down backs, so they're not going to get the bulk. And then you've got Craig Reynolds and Elijah Wellman back there, the lone fullback on the team.
Yeah, lonely guy, and he's back for the second year. Again, you are watching live coverage of the Redskins OTAs exclusively on Redskins.com and the Redskins app. Here at Redskins Park, Larry Michael, Jake Kring-Schreifels, our Redskins broadcast team, the only folks on the sidelines. There are some folks here visiting from our marketing department, so we welcome them at practice. Now, to the right, we've got the offensive lineman, and I was really impressed. I don't see Eric Flowers in that picture. He's closer down the sideline here as you got some tackles working out and some guards working out. But Eric Flowers at that guard position, despite the draft picks, Jake, he certainly looks the part. And in talking to some of the folks with the Redskins, his size, the length of his arms, may be better suited at the guard position. He certainly has experience, although at the tackle position, he got burned quite a bit by the Redskins. But he right now is looking like the left guard, along with these rookies. All of a sudden, you've got some options there.
Yeah, you do. It's nice. They really did invest a lot in getting some more offensive linemen here. You look at the last 2 years, it's just incredible the amount of injuries that they've sustained. So, actually, Eric Flowers was somebody that was impressing yesterday just because of the fact that he was using his speed, too, in a lot of these screens and some of the bubble screens I saw, that he was out there leading the way for Chris Thompson. I think that's something that the Redskins have used a lot in these kind of zone read options. They get the guys way out and swing them out to the left with Trent Williams, and you're able to see Trent Williams' speed, and I think that was a way that they can maybe get these guys a little bit more acclimated too, is trying to get them out in coverage and use their speed and strength. But yeah, you look at Ross Pierschbacher, look at Wes Martin. These are big guys that I think they would really like to have a competition grow through now and into training camp.
Windy day here at Redskins Park as we continue to give you a look at the OTAs, and we're going to ask Asa to swing around and check out the linebackers, the outside linebackers, who are at the 50-yard line at the adjacent field. Of course, Redskins 365 debuts later today on Redskins.com, so I guess this is going to be a 360-degree look at practice.
Yeah, it's 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. We've put a few promos out, but it's really about the what happens after the draft, the rookie mini camp. A lot of great content there from our video team.
And so the outside linebackers, you see Chad Grimm is the coach there. And you got Kerrigan, you got number 90. You got Bruce Allen in a beautiful 365 hat. It is a camo 365 hat. Wish I had one of those. But anyway, Ryan Anderson, a guy this year, and I know he one of Reuben Foster's better friends on the team. I know a little bummed about that, but Ryan Anderson has an opportunity, and I don't think the fact that they have drafted Montez Sweat has really bothered Ryan Anderson. At least he hasn't shown it to me. I think he's kind of embraced the fact that you've added a good football player, and the Ryan Anderson very secure in his own abilities.
Yeah, I think everyone says, well, Montez Sweat, he's the starter. He's a first-round guy. Sorry, Ryan, you're going to be second string. I don't know if that's really the way that you have to look at this. I mean, it's a little more nuanced with the fact that Montez is something that's going to come in probably more on third downs and really be that speed pass rusher on the outside. And Ryan Anderson has shown that he's a better run stuffer. He's obviously a bigger bodied guy. I think they'd like to develop him more into a pass rusher, and that's something that they've been working on last year. He's gotten a few more sacks last year to add to his resume, but I think this could be really one of those platoon situations between him and Montez.
Of course, Jordan Brailsford is out there. He is the rookie out of Oklahoma State, and he'll make a contribution this year. You got Casanova McKenzie, who is not practicing yet. He told me he is raring to go, has never had any kind of injury in his entire career. Coaching staff very high on him. And again, I think you do note here, and I love your opinion on this because you've been around a few years, there seems to be a lot more depth here. I think the last couple of drafts have kind of paid off for the Redskins, and now you're feeling good about the depth on this team.
Yeah, and don't even forget about Andrew Ankra, too, who they picked up from the AAF. He's another JMU guy, so he's good friends with Jimmy Moreland, drives him to the facility. But, I think when you have Kerrigan and Preston for 4 years in a row, I think it's easy to not maybe pay as much attention to the backups on the outside linebackers. You had Ryan Anderson for a while, and that was effectively it. But with Brailsford now, and then having the depth with Montez Sweat, and then Casanova McKenzie, who you mentioned, Jay has really been a big supporter of Casanova, and he really did show out that one game against the Buccaneers last year until he went down with the injury. So that could be a diamond in the rough, I think, for the Redskins, and I think that really whole group, those 5-6 guys, could really provide something else to this defensive line, which is really the strength of this team.
Again, you're watching live coverage of the Redskins OTA day number 2 from Redskins Park. Larry Michael, Jay Kring Schreifels, Asa Winborn, Charlie Broyhill. We're on the sidelines here. No other cameras or media here today. We're going to do it again on Thursday on Redskins.com. Give you a look behind the scenes like we've never done before. Live coverage of the OTAs. And before we sign off, we'd like to take a look at the DBs to the right. And we are blocked from the inside linebackers, so we'll just take it all the way to the right. and focus in on the DBs. And there's a guy that I want to ask you about who was on the team last year, a draft pick out of Penn State, number 30, Troy Apke, kind of another forgotten guy. And this is how you build depth. He came with big promise, a very fast player, known as a hitter, got hurt last year, really didn't contribute, Jake, last year. Can he this year?
I would like to think he can, at least on special teams, and I know a lot of people give some gripes about that because he's a 4th-round draft pick, and you expect him to jump right into the, at least the starting conversation. With Landon Collins now, with Monte Nicholson, I think he is going to be more of a DeShazer Everett type where he fills in on certain packages if need be. Special teams, he's so blazing fast. We saw that with Deion Sanders was even impressed at his combine. I know that everyone mentions that, but the hamstring was a really big lingering issue for him. And I know Jake Gruden even joked about that a lot throughout the last year because it was always, well, is Troy Apke coming back? No, he's got the hamstring. Oh, he just retweaked it. And it was just kind of a narrative that perpetuated. And I think now with Foley healthy, I'd like to see him working a little bit more at safety and see what he can do in the defensive backfield because we just didn't get to see him really get an opportunity at that position.
And finally, you mentioned Jimmy Moreland getting driven to the park. And you look at Jimmy Moreland right there, number 25, diminutive to say the least. But, he had an interception in day 1 of the OTAs, and I can see how in this land of the Giants you could lose him. He gets his hands on the ball. He is hard to find.
Yeah. And it was really funny. Probably the best moment of the press conference yesterday. Jay Gruden's talking about Jimmy Moreland, shorter guy from JMU, kind of an undersized, really underappreciated cornerback in this draft, but really excellent ball skills. And he calls himself a pick machine. But Jay Gruden at this press conference says, this is actually the prime opportunity, the prime few weeks for Jimmy to get interceptions because there's no pads on. Nobody's roughing him around yet. Kind of a joke at his size and, his pliability in some ways. But I think this is someone that when he does get the pads on, I'd like to see if he gets really physical with these bigger wide receivers. He's got some big ones to contend with, and, these wide receivers obviously have a lot of good size. You got Cam Sims, Josh Doxson, Brian Quick. I don't know if they really plan for him to be an outside guy or if they will eventually move him to nickel. I think nickel is probably a more likely spot just because of his height, but it would be cool to see him jockey for position with Fabian and maybe Quentin at that outside spot.
Yeah, you got Stroman, too. You got a bunch of corners there that are going to compete, and there is Greg Minuski sauntering his way onto the field. Jake, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Folks, thank you for checking us out here on Redskins.com and the Redskins app. Day 2 of the OTAs. And again, Redskins 365 debuts tonight on Redskins.com and the Redskins app. A look back at the draft and how things unfolded in the last couple of weeks. Rookie minicamp. Interviews with all the rookies. You got the Meet the Rookie series as well on Redskins.com. So again, we'll do this again on Thursday, the next OTA that is closed to the media. We are open for business on Redskins.com. On behalf of our crew, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.